It was a cosmopolitan town. I liked it spiritually very much. However, I found out that these nice people is one of the most nicest in Yugoslavia was endangered. And maybe this document just explains what happened to Sarajevo, what happened to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and how all this came about. What is happening in Yugoslavia today? Well, let's see it. The Syrian-Iranian terrorist campaign in Western Europe was conducted in the early 1980s under the cover of the Lebanese Armed Revolutionary Forces from a forward base in Yugoslavia that included several Islamic Jihad operatives. Other Palestinian terrorist organizations operating in close cooperation with Syria and Iran were also using Yugoslavia as their own forward base, as well as for launching operations by their international partners. People's Front for the Liberation of Palestine had its networks and offices in Yugoslavia that also housed the Hezbollah operatives. Islamic Jihad's planners expect to be able to use Yugoslavia as their base in Eastern Europe, if only because of the assured sympathy of the Bosnian Muslims, John Laffin observed in 1988. Meanwhile, Iran has also consolidated a Muslim leadership network supportive of Tehran's worldview. At the center of the Iranian system in Europe is Bosnia-Herzegovina's president, Alija Izetbegovic, a fundamentalist Muslim and a member of the Fedayeen's Islam organization, who is committed to the establishment of an Islamic Republic in Bosnia-Herzegovina. The Fedayeen Islam group advocates the struggle for the establishment of Islamic rule wherever Muslims live, and as early as the late 60s had already recognized the leadership of Ayatollah Khomeini and maintained close cooperation with his people. Indeed, in 1970, Izetbegovic published his Islamic declaration stating his worldview. There can be no peace or coexistence between Islamic faith and non-Islamic institutions, he wrote. The Islamic movement must and can take power as soon as it is morally and numerically strong enough, not only to destroy the non-Islamic power, but to build up a new Islamic one. After Khomeini's triumph in Tehran, Izetbegovic renewed his call to implement his Islamic declaration, began organizing an Islamist political movement, and within a few years was thrown in jail for subversion. Later, in early May 1991, Alija Izetbegovic made an official visit to Tehran, where he reiterated his long-held views about the future of his country. He was described by Tehran as a Muslim believer whose party is the strongest political organization in Bosnia-Herzegovina and rallies Yugoslav Muslims to the Islamic cause. While in Tehran, Izetbegovic emphasized that Islam has very deep roots in Bosnia-Herzegovina, which affects its policies. Alija Izetbegovic also declared that Bosnia-Herzegovina was anxious to expand its diverse and comprehensive ties with Iran. In return, Iran promised massive financial assistance and other help to rejuvenate Bosnia's local economy. In addition to these economic considerations, special attention was paid to the expansion of religious and cultural ties, including expansion of the training of Yugoslav Muslims in Iranian schools, as well as the translation and publication of key Islamic texts, including the basic sheet works in Bosnia-Herzegovina. In the meantime, while you have tried to find these documents, Mr. Volker found out that it is not always good to speak the truth. He was attacked. Certainly, if something is very loud spoken, and suddenly the whole world started to attack him, and I knew that something is wrong there, because there are always a division of opinions. But this time, when NATO, on the basis on one thing, I will not imply anything. I will leave to the spectators to come to the conclusion by themselves. I spoke with Volker quite often. He's a man who told me that his TV station has engaged several lawyers, and that all other TV stations that have bombarded the world about the events in Bosnia-Herzegovina, they are also attacking Volker. and we will see what will happen to him.
Tell me, what is the developing of the news today? Is there anything new about that? Or
today, no, nothing new.
Can you reveal me more? Because Reuters gave a statement of yours a few days ago, and they have more details. They said precisely that shell was fired 1.5 kilometers from Sarajevo, from the Muslim territory, and so forth and so forth. I don't know anything about that.
That's exactly what I reported and what my source told me. I mean, he saw it, but he couldn't give me any photocopy or something like that.
So the gentleman saw he saw original documents from UNPROFOR, right? Your source.
Yes, that's what I understood from what he told me.
I see. Is it such reports, are they a secret, or that all journalists has the right to know about that? How we can inquire from another nation such information?
Yeah, what I heard is that the report came into Boutros Ghali's office, and then was changed into the report which everybody knows, the official report. I think that my source will try later to get more information on that and to give it to me. But now the situation being as what it is around Sarajevo and the Tuzla question, they are not willing to compromise anything.
I see. How about the statement in Mostar? They're blind? They don't see Mostar situation, that the Croats are killing Muslims in Mostar, or Croats has different approach?
Yes, they are blind. That's exactly the way. No, but they said in NATO yesterday in Brussels, they said that the politicians prevailed on the military in that case, and so the report had to be what it was.
So do you think that the United Nations and UNPROFOR will publish such information, or they will not do so?
No, never. We have to get that from someone who is willing to give it to you. It will never be published.
I see. My theory is that Russians obviously have the same report because they're also a member of UNPROFOR, right?
Yeah.
And that could be the reason why Mr. Yeltsin was completely opposing such attack of Serbs because of the fact that it's not true.
Yes, of course, it's very complicated. But you see, we are checking that in Moscow too. So maybe we can get something out of them.
Out of Russians?
Yes.
To that end, beginning in May 1992, a special group of Bosnian Muslim forces, many of whom had served with Islamic terrorist organizations, began committing a series of atrocities, including some of the worst recent killings against Muslim civilians in Sarajevo, as a propaganda ploy to win world sympathy and military intervention. For example, around June 20th, Serbian troops besieging Sarajevo engaged a detachment of Muslim special forces dressed in Serbian uniforms who were on their way to attack the Muslim sector from within the Serbian lines. Such an attack, if successful, would have been attributed to the Serbs. Moreover, a UN investigation concluded that several key events, mostly strike against civilians, that had galvanized public opinion and governments in the West to take bolder action in Bosnia and Herzegovina, were in fact staged for the Western media by the Muslims themselves in order to dramatize the city's plight. Investigations by the UN and other military experts count among these self-inflicted actions the bombing of the bread queue, May 27th, the shelling of Douglas Hurd's visit, July 17th, the explosion in the cemetery, August 4th, and the killing of ABC producer David Kaplan, August 13th. In all these cases, Serbian forces were out of range, and the weapons actually used against the victims were not those claimed by the Bosnian authorities and the Western media.
Mr. Jovanovic, how would you comment
this last few shots that we have seen. For you in Sarajevo, this is probably quite normal, but for us, this is a false performance, a false show. And I think that one day, when all these scandals are shown in this awful media war, that this should be awarded the Pulitzer Prize or some other prizes to bring journalists who are just shooting these snipers and these attacks on the cemetery or on different places. Because if I would be there and I would be shot at by the sniper, I certainly will not stay there. I would move somewhere away. So this is just what is happening here. This is the main feature of this dirty media war, which I'm serving and which I will continue to serve to you, to present you. And just these few shots show the essence of everything. And I'm wondering whether some journalists would recognize themselves in this movie. Well, it is interesting that the TV crews are always present at the places where these mass attacks are taking place. You see all these details and all these inserts I have shown in various organizations to people who are engaged in world politics, and we understood that this is something which has to be just shown. And there is a great media research, the inquiry taking place in the world. And certainly in the world, after all this will be done. Maybe the truth is just to find out what is actually the truth, to have the document. Yes. My dear colleague, in this document, I have found also the phone number of Mr. Bodensky. And I consider him as a new Godot, an expert #1 in the world. And I had my first interview with him on March 7th. And later on I spoke also to the correspondent on the French TV from Sarajevo, chief correspondent of French TV in Sarajevo, Louis Beroux, and also Volker appears again. And it is up to the viewers to see and to come to their own conclusion at the end.
Hi, Mr. Bodensky.
Yes.
Hi, this is Jovanovic. I'm a journalist, and can I have 5 minutes of your time?
Well, sure.
Okay. I've read your book, Target America, Terrorism in the USA. I read in your book, which some people don't agree with you, especially in the media in the United States. This is regarding the Bosnia and what's happening in Bosnia.
Well, what can I do? The evidence is on Bosnia is compelling and overwhelming in its magnitude. What the book says and deals with certain aspects of the behavior of the Bosnian government is that the book suggests that any policies that the U.S. government or anybody else's are good or bad or whatever. I just stated that, pointed out, and I think accurately, and all evidence points that direction, that Islamist circles in the Balkans are doing things that should not be done.
Okay. I'm just have to quote one of your sentences in page 276. I tell you said, in early November 92, more than 50 expert terrorists and instructors of Hezbollah and the Tawhid were sent from Balbak to Bosnia and Herzegovina to train local launch operation on their own. Can you tell me something about that? What's your sources of information about that? Who are they?
Well, these are Lebanese, Iranians, and what we call today Arab Afghans. I mean, people have been through Afghanistan. They underwent special training in the Beka to make them not just good operatives, but also instructors and organizers of network. And they were sent, and we see it's possible
the success of their training in the improving quality of several of the Bosnian special forces.